Okay, it is 6:04 and we have a quorum, so I'm calling this meeting to order. Those who choose can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or you can stay seated for silent meditation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the regular board meeting minutes from August 21st. Do I have a motion to approve those? I saw a leash pop up first. Barbara, would you like to second? Okay. Is there corrections, discussion, change? Okay, without any, then I will say all in favor of approving the regular board meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or no's? Okay, thank you. Do we have any public input this evening? Ray, would you like to share? Yep, go ahead.
With respect to public input, it's my understanding that statements and opinions are allowed, but questions are not allowed. So at my first trustee meeting on January 18th, 2024, over a year and a half ago, I violated that rule by taking over 15 minutes to ask 10 questions about various subjects concerning the library. At the trustee meeting 4 months ago in May, I made some comments about literacy, book sales, and the Guilderland Public Library. I ended those comments with the following. When it comes to running the library, the buck stops with the trustees. So back in 2022, in one of your executive sessions, why didn't the trustees inform the director and his staff that book sales would continue? Why, after spending $9 million, didn't the library continue to accept book donations in the library rather than only in the parking lot? And why didn't the library continue to have a room to store and sort donated books for the next book sale? So as I understand it, I am not able to obtain answers to the three aforementioned questions.
Thank you for your comments, Ray. Is there other public input that came in?
We have two comments we would like to read. Comment 1, the funnest library, lots of free activities for both younger kids and older kids. Unsigned. Comment 2 is from a patron named Amelia. My grandchildren and I just participated in the summer reading program. My 9-year-old grandson had difficulty with reading, and the last thing his teacher said in June was, make sure you read this summer. And he did. Thanks to the Color Your World program. It was the incentive he needed. He said even though he didn't win a prize, he was so glad he did this and looks forward to doing it again. Thank you for having this available. That's all.
Okay.
I might be able to make a general comment that is not necessarily an answer. I don't know, as a public comment or a reminder.
Good. Under the second comment.
Board
Okay.
comment.
Okay, yes.
Yep.
We'll make sure I circle back to you on that.
All right, so Ray, stay tuned.
Okay.
I have a point over. Just there was a little bit of clarification there. You can certainly ask questions during public comment, but I don't believe we're obligated to answer them.
Sorry? No.
You can certainly ask questions during public comment, but I don't believe we're obligated to answer them.
And our general practice is not
To
to
not
answer them.
answer questions.
But yeah, you can ask questions, but we don't take that opportunity to immediately answer questions normally.
But my understanding is I can't get an answer at all,
No, that's,
correct?
I don't think.
Well, see, the issue was, my first meeting here was January 18th of 2024, over a year and a half ago. And I had several questions. But 10 questions, and it went on for about 16 or 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I can address it in our board comments at the end, just so I don't break the protocol. But I was the one who answered you too, so I'll follow up on that
that's right,
in the board
but
comment.
that's true. But my understanding was that was breaking the rules based on what I'm hearing from Corey.
I'll clarify it in the board comments.
Because
If you want to hang tight for
Okay.
that.
Because to me, there's no use in answering. I had 10 questions and it was a lot of you folks were there, several of you weren't. But all the questions I had were meaningless if I couldn't get any answers. So-
I'll make sure I address that in the board comments, I promise.
Okay. And the questions I just laid out, I mean, in my own opinion, they're a legitimate question, but if you don't want to answer them for me, I can't make you answer them, but I think they're legitimate questions based on the fact of the issues that have been surrounding this library for the last several years. But if you don't want to answer them, there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm gonna still have my own opinions
We'll
about.
save it for the board, comment period. I promise you will get an answer
Okay.
there, or some context.
Policy.
It is
that
our board
any
policy.
Question that is asked, the president or somebody will get back to you about your questions. That's board policy.
That's board policy? Okay, so then that's not my understanding from what I've heard from you, unless.
I will follow up with you, Ray. Just make sure I have your email address. I'll make sure I follow up with you. Okay. So if there is no other public input, we will move on to personnel actions. And we have a number of them, so I'm going to read them all off together and then ask for a motion. To accept the appointment of part-time library clerk Natalie Allard, effective August 20th, 2025. To accept the appointment of teen librarian 1 Jennifer Vinci, effective September 3rd, 2025. To accept the appointment of custodian Stephen Wagner, effective September 3rd, 2025. To accept the resignation of library page Erica Irwin, effective August 19th, 2025. To accept the resignation of library page Gabrielle Barbaglio, effective August 14th, 2025. To accept the resignation of library assistant Xavier Vanden Newland, effective September 9th, 2025. And to accept the resignation of librarian 1 Sarah Russo, effective September 19th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those personnel actions? Thank you, Bill. Is there a second? Thanks, Joe. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the personnel actions stated?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor. George, I will turn it over to you for the treasurer's report.
All right. We met Tuesday, the finance committee met. And I guess I'm a little paranoid tonight because I received a text message during the meeting, which maybe is public comment, but it said, "Don't slump." So I'm gonna try to sit up straight. Apparently my wife was visiting the library and decided to share that. So why don't we start with the revenue, expenses, and changes in net position. And again, we reviewed this a couple of nights ago, but when we look at it, we continue to be favorable on salaries and wages and fringe benefits, but less favorable than we were last month. And last month, we did have 3 payrolls included. So, you kind of get a multiplied effect from this month that has 2, but Pete did report that, they are in the process of hiring and everything. And I think some of the other things we looked at, repairs and maintenance, the month before, for the current month, it's almost right on budget, but it was about 5,400 unfavorable because of some one-time purchases that they did. We did one thing a little bit different, and my feeling and the way I presented it was it just makes things more transparent. Under line 26 is a line called capital improvements, and there is a budget for that that goes in, and it's somewhat of a reserve concept that we usually recognize the budget in June. But we did actually buy some capital improvements, a couple of sets of chairs or something. And normally it would go onto the balance sheet. And, if you added up the difference, you would see it there, but you really can't visualize it easily. And my feeling is that the tax levy has to pay for things like that, even though ultimately they go onto the balance sheet. So we did put it into line 26. It was 19,624 of equipment. And we moved that much of the budget into it, so it'll be kind of budget neutral. So we're not changing the budget for the year, we're just changing the way we spread it. Overall, we continue to be favorable from operations. Line 30, interest and investment income is also favorable. It's been favorable $4,000 this month, about 11,000 next month. We did build in the budget some gradual decreases in the rate, thinking that the Fed might cut the rate. We happen to build a decrease into the budget for October, and then 2 more coming up throughout the rest of the year. So, you know, I think that we will be, probably will continue to be favorable to budget on that. So again, line 32 shows that we are favorable about 33,000 for the month and about 100,000 year to date. Flipping over, if they are subsided, I can't remember, is the balance sheet. And we're kind of in the period where we're funding operations from July until the taxes are received in October. So, you know, we expect that our assets will go down by, I think, about $1.3 million because we have the expenses, but our revenue comes in about, I think, 80 or 90% of it in October. So cash went down a little bit, which probably one of the few times I'd say that is a really good thing, because if cash goes down, it means that they're managing it well, and I think they have been, and it goes into short-term investments, and we can get interest on it basically instead of just sitting there idle. So line 1 and 2 have gone down to fund the operations. Prepaid expenses, we have a lot of insurance expenses that go in usually July, and then they get written off or expensed over the remainder of the year, so it decreases gradually. I think that's about it. Accounts payables, about $61,000. There are a number of invoices that come in after month end, but it's certainly not because we're lagging payments or anything like that. I think that's it. See, we'll do the investment report and then the check register. So,
Question.
oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Line 16, the $5,000 unfavorable technology.
So I think that what we saw, and I'm embarrassed to say that Mike pointed it out, when we look at the check register, we did have a purchase of some computer equipment that we did not capitalize or move to line 26, thank you. And we'll probably do that in a subsequent month. And that I thought was around 7,000 or 8,000.
Between 7,000 and 8,000.
Yeah,
But in the
yeah.
check register, it's early literacy PCs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for, I forgot about that. When you miss something, you try to forget it quickly. Okay, so the investment report. So what Pete and Colleen did at the kind of halfway down the page, we did invest, well, first of all, we're getting about 4% on the IntraFi account. It's down about, it was 4.05% last month, and there's some mutual funds held at LPL or Broadview that we're getting about 3.97%, you know, pretty close. And then the CDs, basically, they structured it to kind of layer them out over the next year from 4.25, the most recent one, to 4.05. So even if rates do drop, which they probably will, we'll be locked into those rates at least through, you know, we have money maturing out next August, basically, so almost a year. And I think it was just a way to protect against, you know, any swings in the interest rates.
The men's public.
Yeah, I think that's it for that.
For towels, maintenance to the men's public restrooms to replace paper towels.
And then on the check register, it's a few pages long. We did the same thing as we did last month. At the very end of the report are the disbursements for payroll. And we can actually see that they're They kind of spiked up a little bit, but overall, they're kind of trending up slightly in everything. As well as the payments for deferred comp at the bottom. About halfway down the first page is the 7,108 computer replacement from Acquisition Inc. The very first line was the ATM replenishment. I can't think if there was anything else unique on this list. I don't have anything marked, but
The two furniture purchases, one's Arcadia Chair Company, 9,992. The other one is on the second or third page.
Second page.
Miller Knoll. Yep, Miller Knoll, 9,631. If anyone attends a program in the Norman Skill Room, you can sit on one of our new chairs. If that excites anyone, I don't know.
and that's it, Madam President.
So we just need a motion then to approve the check register.
I'll move.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second?
Second.
And the second is from Matt,
What's the motion?
to approve the check register. Mike, we're all check. And the second was Matt. Okay.
Mr. Glass.
Any other comments or questions about it? The check register? Okay. Barbara's stepping away, so we'll mark her down as an abstention, but we still have enough to pass. So, all those in favor of approving the check register?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, yeah.
Aye. Okay, great. It's passed. This is not anything we need to pause the meeting for. right?
I don't.
Okay, okay. So some of you may have noticed we have a special guest in here, and I think Pete, as a part of his director's report, is going to introduce her and
I am.
let her present. So we'll move on to that.
So something exciting this month, I will be yielding my time to a special guest, our head of youth services, Brianna. I will let Brianna tell you more about herself, but specifically, we're here to talk about summer reading, which just concluded for us.
How'd it go?
Very well, more on that in a moment.
Kind of have followed that better.
If you would like us to move on to something else, so you can reframe for a moment if you want, Brianna.
He was the first eye doctor I went to. He was.
Go slideshow on the ribbon.
He was an ophthalmologist.
You come down a little bit to your left.
Okay.
There you go. And you're gonna go from beginning.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
And then you can just hit the little carrot. Yep, yeah, touch that. There you go, and just put that somewhere.
I think this is the safe corner there. I'll pass this around as well. This is our summer tracker. So as Pete said, I'm Brianna Walkowitz. I'm the Youth Services Department Head, and I have been since May 2023. And Pete has asked me to share about our summer reading program. So what is the summer reading program, or SRP as we usually refer to it here? It is the summer-long program that is designed to motivate reading, usually through a tracking and reward system. And it is also the various events we have at the library for all ages that really celebrates the library and brings it to the community's attention as a free and welcoming resource for everyone. Why is summer reading important? So you may have heard about Summer Slide. So this is the idea that testing scores have shown that for when they're tested in the spring and tested in the fall, students lose an average of 1 month of reading skills. So that's where we come in. We're here in the summer. We want you to read. As that student that Grandma said, that was wonderful. We are also the resource faucet. So during the school year, all students have the same resources. They're at school. School closes for the summer. The faucet is turned off. So this is where we also fill that gap. We are also the assist with the idea of family capital. So no matter what other resources you may have, as long as you have access to either financial, human, or social resources, and we are that social resource, it can make all the difference in your reading. So the main resources we use to complete our summer reading program is through the CSLP. So this is the Collaborative Summer Library Program. It is a consortium of states that work together to provide the yearly slogans, the themed marketing, the graphics, event ideas, webinars. So this past summer, our theme was Color Our World. Our intern over the summer asked me, she's like, so did you guys choose that slogan because you can use the COW acronym? I'm like,
So funny.
thought of that. Yes, we are all about cows here, but we did not think of that. No, this is a nationwide thing. It's not just us deciding to try to get another cow in. And then Upper Hudson, of course, is also a great resource for us. They provide the funding for the CSLP membership, materials, event recommendations. They do a local SRP workshop every January and February where we can network with other libraries on the area, share performers, share ideas. This is our timeline for how we plan summer reading. It's all year round. It starts in September, right after summer reading ends. We have a debrief over what we thought worked, what we thought didn't work over the summer. Ideas already, we're already percolating on our new ideas. We have to do also reporting to Upper Hudson and to New York State Library on all our statistics. November, CSLP will release the graphics and manual of ideas for the coming summer. January, we usually have that workshop. We start picking kickoff dates, deciding weekly themes we want to go with. February, March, we have to start booking presenters. It can get very cutthroat out there. We brainstorm our program ideas and we start designing our reading log and booklet and how we want to do it each year. In April, we have to start booking our library space, making sure we have the rooms to accomplish all the programs we want, design a t-shirt, design our family bag, order the summer reading books that the GCSD provides us with, and order our prize books. In May, we decide on prize baskets, create our SRP website, plan kickoff, and order all of the program supplies. You see those financial reports. In June, it's visiting the schools, it's distributing the flyers, advertise them for the summer reading program, decorating the library, and prepping for all those programs that are happening in July and August. These are some stats for our kickoff night attendance.
Wow.
So starting in 2023, you can see we had 221 total. 2024, we had a jump to 531. And then this last summer, we had 851 people.
Growth across every area.
Yeah. Our youth programs attendance, similar jump of what we've done from 2023 to 2025. And then this is the signing up for the reading tracking portion stats here. So also total readers 2023, 358 across children through to adults. They jumped 944, and then this past summer, 1,482 sign up for reading. So this was purposeful. It wasn't an accident. We're amazed at. We tried to get more people involved, more people in the library. So for kickoff, the major change after 2023 was let's do a combined event with adults instead of asking families to maybe come to the library twice to sign up. Everybody signs up at once. Also, the biggest model for a child to read is to see their parent enjoy reading. We also want to have an all ages event without a performer. Sometimes it's tradition to have a performer, but that can limit maybe the ages that would be interested in coming that night. We want it to feel more like a night out for the whole family. So we had our popcorn and snow cones, as Pete knows very well. He was manning the snow cone station all night. We also wanted to start a tradition during the COVID summers when we weren't having events. One of the things we had done was a really nice family bag with the Golden logo on it. And we still saw people use it all the time and love it and talk about it. So let's make this be a little bit of a tradition, something to really come for. So we wanted to market it as like the go-to event. We're like, summer reading, I hear about it. What do I do? We're like, July 1st, kickoff, come to the library. So those were changes that paid off. For program attendance, some of those changes were changes in staffing levels within the department, and also deciding to, instead of doing our traditional model, had been just doing little programs for maybe like 12 people, like aiming for some big, really big events and pulling it off and having the resources to do that. For the reader signups, the big difference was in 2023, we're still using an app, but decided everyone wants to be off screens. Everyone wants their children to be off screen. So instead of having to, your child tell you how many books you read and you log into the app and do it, it's like the child is actually in charge of it. This is their booklet. They have written that this is their sketchbook, and they're the ones actually active in their reading. So paper registrations, instead of go home and sign up on the app if you'd like, we sign them up there in-house. We also have the paper reading log versus the app. And a huge one was having the visible grand prizes. If anyone was in the summer and saw those baskets on our desk, everyone's like, what are those? So that was the biggest advertisement as well. Huge difference also from 2023 and 2024 is in 2025, we have Caroline, a wonderful marketing specialist who actually had a coordinated marketing effort for us. We hadn't had for summer reading. And this was also our first summer having a youth outreach librarian who really visited all the schools, saw like every child in the district, and talked about summer reading. So we've had that meeting debrief about this past summer. Here I can say dinosaurs are coming. This is the 2026 theme is Unearth a Story. And some of our goals for this coming summer is to, of course, maintain or increase our registrations, increase midpoint and finale prize pickup participation, have a more hybrid method of paper and digital signups as well as tickets. If anyone saw our video of Pete being showered in tickets, it's a lot of paper, a lot of time to make those. Increase community involvement. Our Flower Fest was great, having some community partners up in our parking lot, do more of that. Continue having the idea of signature programs and traditions, and make use of our outdoor spaces. Is there any questions?
I think you deserve it. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's really helpful. If you're open to it, perhaps I would love to see the PowerPoint presentation if you would send it to Pete, if you're open to that, and Pete can forward it on to all of us. So we'll take a closer look. But thank you very, very much. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes.
Oh, here, go Barbara.
Now that you've experienced the expansion,
Yes.
and do you find that you have more interest on the part of particularly teen kids where they have their own space and little toddlers? How has that worked out architecturally and?
Oh yeah, people come to see the library, that they've heard about this library and come and want to see it. It's nice having our former library is just one room was our closet, the story time room, the playroom, program room. So now we actually have a separate little playroom and an event room. So that's been a huge difference. The teens, we love it. We're like, there's teens here. There's teens in the teen room. It's been a great change and a good one.
I'll say as someone that sat at the table for the library, everybody came up and had amazing things to say about, just everything we were at the Flower Festival, but people came up constantly and were like, all your programming's so great. We love it here. Like, we have so many reasons to bring the kids by and things like that. So or anyone who's ever been at a farmer's market table, I'm sure has gotten the same feedback. So yeah, you guys are doing awesome stuff.
Well, before I let Brianna leave, the presentation numbers cannot do enough credit to the work that Brianna and her team do. We have a really phenomenal summer reading program. We have a phenomenal youth services program. Sheer volume, like the day that we did the kickoff, I believe it was raining for like the back half of that day,
Yes.
and people still turned out, so it's really just phenomenal. So kudos to you. I'm glad that you got to really demonstrate the work you and your team are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How many people on your team?
So there's myself, we have 4 full-time youth librarians and 2 part-time that work nights. And now in LA. This has changed a little bit. We've been having some staffing up and downs, but that's the goal.
Other questions for Brianna? Brianna, thank you so much. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting unless you want to.
I have to go to the desks.
You need calls.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add for the director's report?
I don't think so.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions after reading it or from reading it,
I do.
Please.
There's a review of a review and retrieving of video surveillance that's mentioned in here, but an initiating event is not.
Hmm.
Do you speak to that?
Because it's confidential, I would not speak to it outside closed session.
Yeah, fair enough. And on the admin internal ops, we're talking about an RFP. Is that, can we speak about what the RFP is for, or is that a separate vote?
Yes, no, so we are going to be soliciting bids, and George may want to speak to this regarding our audits. We've got a couple of years worth of audits that we need to catch up on, so it's a high enough value that we need to solicit bids. George, do you want to speak to the RFP at all, or?
Yeah, that's really good. I think we've been with current auditors over 5 years, and it's just the fact that they kind of decided it would be a good idea to go out and do that. Great.
Yeah, mostly it's a best practice, not for any reason dissatisfactory
Yeah.
or auditor.
Thank you.
But yeah, if after reading anyone has any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me an email or come say hi. I'm always here.
Okay. There's no questions. We'll move on to the committee reports. Tony, I'm not Tony, obviously, but Tony did share with me yesterday the notes from the finance committee, and there's a couple of points that we need to consider here. So I know this is kind of lame, but I'm just going to read this aloud. And anybody from the finance committee or that was at the meeting, please jump in. And two of these items, one of these items is listed under new business, so we'll hold off on a vote about that. But the first item is to close the current credit cards with Citizens Bank and open new cards with the NBT Bank. Since we're not banking customers of Citizens, our credit card limit is limited and lower than needed. These new cards will be in the names of Pete, Natalie, Sean, and a fourth card will be opened in the name of GPL if allowed by NBT, with a spending limit of $20,000 aggregate. So the recommendation to the board is to close the Citizens Bank credit cards and open 4 new cards in the names of what I stated before with the spending limit of $20,000. I'm not certain if that was voted on in the finance committee or if it is just coming as a recommendation and we need a motion.
It is coming as a recommendation.
Okay. So we'll open it up for discussion in just a moment, but is there a motion to approve that? Okay, thank you, Mike. Is there a second? I saw Joe's hand pop up faster. Is there any questions? And hopefully there's somebody that was in the meeting that can answer them. Seemed relatively straightforward. So, okay. All in favor of closing the NBT account, or I'm sorry, of closing the Citizens Bank credit cards and opening the new cards, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor, great. The second is also not on the new business list, so I'll read that. And that says we have an NBT account that has $5,624.89 balance, which is the remainder of a $10,250 gift. Currently, it is not making any interest and making bookkeeping slightly more complicated. We would fold that money into the operating account. The $5,624.89 would be earmarked for the original intention of the gift. So the recommendation is to close the NBT account with the $5,624.89 balance and fold those funds into the operating account while earmarking it as a gift. And I assume that came the same way as a recommendation. So is there a motion to approve that? Mike Haralchak. Do we have, oh, Barbara, she jumped in. Okay, are there any questions or anything about that? Again, relatively straightforward. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll just read the context for the third one, but it's going to go under new business. And that is, we need to increase the director's spending limit from 5,000 to 10,000. Some of us, my internal note, myself included, recall doing this during the renovation, but we couldn't find any records. So we're going to move that on to new business, but that is one of the things that came from finance as well. So that is that committee report. Anybody else from the committee have anything to add? Okay, Elise, you're up with personnel.
Mine's very exciting. So our entire personnel meeting was in an executive session where we just had our kind of kickoff discussions for the CSEA two contract negotiations. So we just talked through some just initial thoughts on what we plan to bring to the table, and then the action items that came out of that. Natalie and Peter putting together some information for the committee so we can kind of absorb and digest the asks and what those impacts might be before we take that into negotiations. We literally met tonight at 5 p.m. with Aaron, the lawyer from Bourbon and Ferlazzo, to just sort of discuss some of those points more in depth. So we will continue these discussions at our next personnel committee meeting on October 2nd. That's my exciting update for personnel.
Thanks, Alish. Bill, do you have a report from facilities?
Facilities, the committee members unanimously agreed to move forward with the contract with Titan Roofing to fix the skylight.
Yay.
There was a resolution put in, but I don't think it made it into the package here to have the board approve that so that Pete can sign that contract. So I'd like to put that in.
That's not, that's on new business.
Say again.
I think that's on new business.
Okay, all right, okay. So that's the big thing. Then the second, we didn't have a meeting this week or this month, but the other thing is the Sunday, the farmer's market. We've agreed to have a last book sale on September 28th, I think it is. And so far, we've got 3 director trustees volunteering for that. I think we might need 1 volunteer to pitch in if I don't get another trustee on that. So looks like we're to go on final book sale. They've been well received at the farmer's market, the Sundays that we've done them. Good exchange with the population that comes to the farmer's market. And thanks to the volunteers that came in and did that. I think they had a good time volunteering and meeting the various people and manning the cash register. That's all I have for facilities.
I see that there was a governance report. Would you like to?
had a question.
Oh, Barbara, sorry.
Just a quick question on the skylight, either in your report or somewhere along the line, they mentioned that there may be some insurance coverage, or did I misinterpret that?
So we need to get liability insurance coverage from Titan, which they've provided to us, but they need to cover us in their insurance.
Oh, okay. Okay. And any bids yet on how much it's gonna cost to fix the leak?
It's
Yes, in the pack, it's under $10,000.
What is your?
9,000.
9,800.
9,000.
Uh-huh.
That's what we hear.
Yep. Here, you can have a copy of all of my stuff. This is all the Titan stuff that I have, which includes, oh, got it. Okay, perfect. So we will hold off on the vote for that until it's under, because it's under new business. Mike, to
Yes.
you.
The governance committee did meet, and we basically went through kind of a long list of existing policies that have been kind of recommended to be at least looked at or possibly revised or updated, and also a few proposals for new policies that we don't currently have. And we basically kind of just prioritized and divvied up the various policies we're looking at to different members of the committee to kind of take the lead on starting a review or revisions or whatever for the particular policies. You can look at the minutes kind of for the full rundown of the various things that we're going to start working on. One just thought I have that I just want to kind of throw out there for the board right now is I was thinking about one other thing other than policies that's kind of under the purview of the governance committee is the bylaws. And, you know, over the past few years since I've been here, we've had some kind of piecemeal, revisions to particular provisions. And we did there were some bits and pieces cleanup like 2 years ago when we were amending for another purpose. But we haven't had any kind of real comprehensive look at our bylaws in the time I've been here. And so I was thinking that maybe, you know, in the latter half of this board year, that might be something that the committee could look into, is just to kind of get any feedback from people and see if there's any whether it's just, you know, clean up for consistency and making sure everything flows well, or seeing if there are any, you know, bigger changes or things that we ought to make just to make things, you know, just better. I don't have anything in particular in mind or any particular things, but just it seems like that's something that might be a smart thing to do once in a while, is have a kind of comprehensive review of the bylaws as a whole, rather than just dealing with issues as they arise. Just a thought, that's all.
Thanks, Mike. Long-range planning, we did meet. We are in the process of scheduling the, oh my gosh, my brain, focus groups and getting all of that coordinated. So Christina, as you may recall, we have 2 staff members that are on the committee, and Christina's taken the lead on getting those room spaces, and we just need to confirm when those are going to happen. But we'll be holding focus groups that are open to the public with a limited number of registrations, so we get the best we allow everybody a chance to speak. And that's just going to get folded into the other feedback that we got from the survey, so that we can start crafting the plan itself. Board development, I know Bethany is not here. Have you met? I don't know who else is on that coming up the top of my head.
I don't believe board development.
Okay, I will share an update just because I know this piece. I connected Bethany with Chris Sagas, who is the new executive director at Upper Hudson, because they typically do all of our training. And actually, Chris had just emailed Bethany back today with some options. So I'm sure she's going to be getting the committee together to try and figure out how we want to tackle our training, since we are required to do 2 hours. And I would recommend even more. Just, it's never a problem to learn. But she'll be in touch after that. Alish, did the foundation meet?
They did meet on the 11th. So they did not have a quorum, so unfortunately could not vote on anything, but we did have pretty good discussion. We gave them the update for the Flower Festival. They got a lovely thank you card from the staff with some bookmarks. So they were very happy to hear about how it went, and they're, you know, tidying up the invoices from the Flower Festival. They also re-upped the 50% coverage for the speaker series that we have. So they cover 50% of the annual fee, and the library does the other 50%. We had also at the previous meeting gotten funding approved for coding robots. So we let them know that those are being ordered. They finished printing out their recruitment brochures, bookmarks and things like that for their, like, I forgot what they called it. I called it backpack lids in my notes, but basically they're just going to put all this information in backpacks that they'll go home and hopefully attract, you know, recruit more folks to the foundation. It's a small but mighty group, and they're trying to get some more folks. And they're also going to have those same materials at Reader Treat, which transitions into the Reader Treat. We had come to them with a request for coverage for candy and giveaway items, food, drinks for the volunteers, decorations, foundation branded tree bags will be given out. They are going to host a table this year. So we had a big discussion about that. It technically, as far as I know, isn't approved just yet because they have to do that via email. So I'm sure we'll hear about that when that happens. But that request is out. It sounds like there was at least a start of a discussion for a friends group. So I think that's a work in progress. No update there other than it has been brought up. And then our last point that we discussed is having a big event or a gala, which was the whole point of how we structured this room, so things can slide around and move. And we discussed some potential themes for that, what that might look like. So I don't think there's an official approval for that just yet. It's just they started talking about it.
Right.
So that is the foundation.
Sounds great. I am not quite sure that I have any like breaking news to report out of Upper Hudson. So I'll just let that one move on. It's kind of business as usual over there. So, do we have any old business? Anything that is lingering from previous meetings?
I have an update.
Okay.
From last time we met, we talked about getting in touch with the school board, the town board, and starting to build relationships there. I did make contact with a member of each board, and we sat down and had a discussion about what we envision that might look like. It's being brought back to their respective boards now to sort of start making its way through that process. What we're targeting is 2 members from each board and the executives to meet sometime in the near future. It's all very nebulous still. It's all the very nascent stages. So I'll have something a little bit more firm, hopefully by the next time we meet. And we can, I imagine that needs some sort of motion to sit 2 members on some special committee.
I think once we get ready to form it, we have a good idea. Yeah,
Great.
we'll move for it, but yeah.
I would be happy to be a part of that with you.
Sure.
Awesome. We look forward to hearing more of that, I
Yeah.
guess, so.
Thank you.
So, as noted, we have two things of new business in here. So actually, the second is sort of taken care of if we pass the first, but we're going to do them both anyway. So, the first, and again, like this was stated earlier, there's a lot of recollection of this happening, but we're just really reaffirming, the thought that many of us had that the director had a discretionary fund of $10,000. So I would ask for a motion to set the official limit of the director's discretionary fund at $10,000. Alicia. Is there a second? I'm going to take Bill.
You were,
Are there any questions about this?
Is that fund cumulative or per instance?
Per transaction. And really it's to keep things like the skylight, you know, that happen in between board meetings, to keep things like that moving. Yeah. So, okay. Any other questions or comments? All in favor of setting the official limit to $10,000? Okay, it's passed. Second, though it is now under this, since it's fresh and new that we have reaffirmed this, we want to approve the contract with Titan Roofing. So that information should have been included in the packet. The total cost is in there. Pete has shared with us about that in the past, and I believe that facilities has as well. So are there any, I guess, do we have a motion to approve the contract with Titan Roofing? Barbara, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna take Matt this time. Everybody's just so excited. Are there questions or comments, discussion about this skylight repair?
I have a question about what's in the packet. We have section 2 under services references the scope set forth in attachment A. Attachment A is titled scope of services, but there's no content.
Yeah, there's the contract, we just put the contract in. The scope. It was actually in front of the contract. If you turn the page.
no, other way, back one page.
I think it just got
Got it, or else-
attached the wrong way.
Oh, I see. All right.
This is the 2 pages, it just.
All right. Thank you.
Can I just, my question is, I know that there was, an issue was that we, a lot of problems in identifying the root source of the leak and getting it all figured out. Now, is this just for the diagnostic, like basically to do that testing to identify what the problem is, or is this to actually repair the problem that's been identified?
It is to repair. So we did have another vendor, MSI, who did a diagnosis, so we know the
Okay.
panel. Titan will be re-diagnosing as part of their scope, but it includes diagnostic and the repair.
Just making sure this is actually fixing it. Okay.
Correct.
Hopefully is the solution to this without having to do a much more extensive skylight repair.
That was just me knocking on wood.
We're happy that we found somebody that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
That was really hard for last year. The biggest problem was just getting somebody in who would say, yes, they would do it, so.
Big thanks to Pete, Jason, and facilities for finally getting this to happen, so. Okay, any other questions? All in favor of approving the contract with Titan Roofing? Wonderful. Okay, we have a second round of public input. Is there anything new that has come in? If not, and I know we have one person that's waiting to speak, so we will move on to board comment, and Alicia, we'll go ahead and let you start.
Sure. It already kind of got addressed unintentionally, but I did want to reiterate that when we had discussed the policy for public input, that if there were legitimate questions that were asked that warranted response, that the board president or the director or assistant director could take that and follow up on it. And just a reminder that another avenue, if you do have questions, is to directly reach out to people to get those questions answered. And that might be more expedient and but a shorter feedback loop than waiting for a board meeting and then for people to remember to answer. Because I did answer the last one and it required an hour phone conversation with the director to get context for all of the questions that were asked and drafting the email and et cetera, et cetera. So Ray, your questions can get answered. It's just, it cannot get answered in the board meeting. And that's the clarification that I wanted to provide.
And if they aren't answered within a reasonable time period, just
follow up
bug us
virtually.
again.
The board contact email goes directly to me as well. It's on the website. So always, it's probably easier and faster that I will respond if it comes through email too.
I'll give you my email.
But you can give me your email and I'll answer you that way.
Okay.
Yes, Mike.
And just because we did last year when we revised the public comment policy, we kind of added in a brand new section that specifically talks to this. And I just read it very quickly because I think it kind of clarifies, like, as a matter of practice, the board does not immediately respond to public comments. If the board determines that a public comment requires follow-up, action may be taken in a variety of ways as deemed appropriate, including but not limited to direct communication with the commenter, research or investigation by individual board members, delegation of a question or issue to the library director, delegation of a question or issue to a board committee, or placement on a future board agenda. So, you know, there's just depending on the nature of the comment or question, there may be work required to really get a good answer, or it may, you know, there may be different people that have responsibility. So that's kind of our general policy.
Any other board comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn the September meeting? Joe, I saw that hand first. Joe, would you like a second? Bill, would you like to second? Okay, perfect.
Joe,
All,
quickest draw in the.
He's waiting too. He needed.
all in favor of adjourning the meeting? Okay, meeting adjourned at 6:56.
It'll take it.
Thanks.
Your father.
Everybody, get your email ahead.
Yeah.